Well, hello guys, this is of course the Organic Guy, and welcome to yet another episode of Organic Adventures, where we are all about starting, engaging and documenting conversations that will hopefully help you understand and experience organic magic. So in this episode we are one-on-one with Ammi, the veggie man. Of course, from his name you should be able to have an idea of what he is all about, but just to spare you a little bit of stress, he is actually a vegan, he is a recording artist, and of course he is an organic farmer and practitioner. So from me to you is actually just tighten your seatbelt and get ready to experience an organic magic.
Was on demand. Strange people, strange sand. We calling them out and we making a stand.
Falling when they should be rising up, and I'm calling all my people them to get up and them straying when they should be getting out and they're playing in our wicked man's house. I'm not believing that this is what it's all about. You're not retrieving from the energies you put out. It's quite deceiving that you really can't get out. It is bereaving when I see how many jobs.
Thank you very much for making time for us, Mr.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah, it's actually a pleasure. This is one of those interviews I've also been really looking forward to. So we appreciate for making time for us. Yeah, so for those guys who haven't heard about you, you can sort of introduce yourself and let them know a little bit about who you are and what you're about.
Well, first of all, I'd like to give thanks and praise to the Almighty Creator who has blessed us to have these opportunities. My name is Ammi, aka the Veggie Man. I'm a recording artist, born in Antigua, Caribbean, where I always send big love to my people in Antigua. And I'm a member of the African Hebrew Israelite community based in Israel, where we are a completely vegan community and, as you know, pro-organic, pro-healthy and regenerative lifestyles. So me myself, I'm here in Kenya right now, working on behalf of our company, ABI Organic Agriculture Limited. We are here at Amiran. We manage Amiran's organic department, where we promote organic greenhouses, organic kits, and turnkey organic units, all certified organic. So for the most part, my life is organic. It's vegan. It's healthy.
Yeah.
So I love this life. I love this. I love you guys. Love what you're promoting. So it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure also. So when I heard that, actually one of my friends is the one who introduced me to you, and he was like, "Have you met him?" So I was like, "No, I haven't. But who is it?" And he told me he's an Israeli who is really passionate about organic. Then a few months later, that's when I got a chance to speak with you through the phone, and I was like, there's no way this guy is Israeli, because of the accent. So you can sort of make us understand how you can be from the Caribbean and also from Israel at the same time.
What happened is that our people who were born in the Caribbean and America, most people don't know, but quite a large number of our people who were taken from Africa during the transatlantic slave trade were actually biblical descendants of the children of Israel who had migrated across Africa and then taken us into slaves. So a large number of us, I would take that back, a small number of us realized that our heritage was not only back to Africa, but that our heritage was tied into Israel, and that the entire story and the prophecies and even the return of the children of Israel was about us as a people, that we had to return to begin to activate the laws of God and to activate the Creator on our behalf. So we, in 1969, under the leadership of Benjamin, a small number of our people migrated back to Israel and began to build what we call the kingdom of God, or the kingdom of Yah on earth. And in that, it was not until 1994 when I first met the community. And as a young artist growing up in Antigua, I was known as, back then, as Lenny Fresh, the human beatbox, where I was doing all the and all that type of stuff, and imitating just about any instrument. But once I grew older, I began to ask questions. I mean, who are we? I mean, where are we from? how do we connect to Africa, because we're black and we're being told Africans are running around only with spears and arrows and eating each other. So they gave us this negative image of Africa.
Yeah.
So I became a lot more inquisitive, and even seeing the movie Roots back then, and there's so much that connected us, and we were trying to make sense of this. So when I first met a member of the community back in '94, and he said to me, Ammi, you know that our people were actually the people of the Bible, and the Bible is a black history book, and that the images you see of the Bible in terms of the European images that you're seeing, that those are not the original people. The original people were actually taken into slavery, into America, into the Caribbean, and you are among the tribe of Judah. These are the people, and this is where you belong. So when he began to say it, and he began to explain to me that a community was already being built in Israel, a black community, and that we're vegans and there's no disease and no crime, I said, this sounds impossible, but I want to see it for myself. And I want to, it gave my life a lot more purpose when I connected to the community. So that when I say now that I'm a Hebrew or I'm an Israelite, it's not just saying that, I am a member of a community, or I'm just a part of a religion, or I'm just a part of something that somebody's trying to do. I'm saying that my national origin is Israel. It's biblical. It's David. It's Moses, and not just the David and Moses you see. It's Black African David. It's Black African Moses. It's Black African Yeshua, who we call Jesus. It's Black African Isaac. So Black African Abraham. So tying myself into that understanding, and really, getting a better understanding of that, and then really beginning to connect the dots, and the community, again, on the leadership of Benjamin, everything connected for me. So I felt like, wow, this is a great awakening, because all my life I was told something else, so I then moved to Israel, and I can say, as a member of a great movement of people who are bringing, God's power into being. I have worked extensively with the community outside of Israel, in Africa, in the Caribbean, in the States, in the UK. I've moved around quite a bit as a member of the community representing our redemptive enterprises. And when I say redemptive, we do only vegan restaurants. We do only natural clothing and fashion. We do only organic agriculture when we get stepping into the areas of agriculture. We do only positive music. So the industries we touch, and when we, even in terms of our health institutions, we do only regenerative and natural health. So all of our businesses have been tied into what we call redemptive enterprises for the redemption of our people.
Okay. Pretty interesting. So obviously traveling has been a big part of your life.
It has.
So, and during your early years you stayed in the Caribbean.
Yes, I did.
So how was that life? Because when suddenly my generation, when I was growing up during the high school days, we used to consume a lot of music from the Caribbean, and all we used to see in the music videos was a lot of violence. You could say drug abuse. Was that the case when you were growing up, or was it, was being fed a different kind of messages that were not really in the Caribbean?
Well, actually, what you see in the Caribbean when it comes to music, what started, especially reggae music, which originated out of Jamaica, what you saw when Peter Tosh, Bob Marley, Bunny Wailer, Inner Circle, you name it, Jimmy Cliff, these guys were all singing positive music. What happened with reggae music as we transferred years later into the 90s, into dance hall, even some of the first dance hall was positive music. What happened? It was infiltrated because you had a few guys who would take it and sing sex and drugs and violence. And those numbers were small. They were very small numbers. But what happened, the large-scale world media, as you know it, it's easy, they promote violence and sex and all of that in the midst of our people, so because it's easy for them to sell, because they have already, through media and the conditioning of our people, through that mental conditioning, to have a greater taste for things that I call it ungodly things. It was easy to sell. So just the way that they sold Africa to us as everyone eating each other and everybody sick and swollen stomachs and people dying and running around with spears. Everybody was trying to kill each other. It's the same way they sold you the Caribbean as simply being everyone who was on drugs, everyone who was high, everyone who was killing each other, and it was all about sex, when that was not actually the case. The Caribbean actually had a lot of Afrocentric or Africanism as far as the principles, how we took care of each other, how the neighbors shared amongst each other. Even me growing up, I could go to my neighbor and say, I need some salt, I would need some sugar. So we shared everything. It was a lot of love. We didn't lock our doors growing up when I grew up in the Caribbean back in the 70s and early 80s. We didn't lock our doors. You could leave home and no one would ever break into your house. So it was a completely different experience that we had. So then it was not until later on that it was infiltrated with the media broadcasting and we were socialized. So in the Caribbean you see today, the Black America that you see today was not what it was then. This was something that changed over the years, and the mainstream media had a major role to play in that. So what you see was not all of that. It was not the majority of the community was quite peaceful.
Yeah, so we were being basically sold a different image than what was happening actually on the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because simply what happened when you look at the world today, and you say someone has an agenda.
Yeah.
Just like it is with conventional food and the chemicals that are killing our people through agriculture, someone has an agenda in terms of degrading our people and degrading our value system or principles. You find so much of who we are and what our original purpose was has actually been diverted, so that we have been focusing our energy and focus on materialism and the thing and how you look and the energy. It's a lot of negative energy that has been gone into the new image that has been created. So this new image represented something else and someone else's agenda. Where our job now, which is why I say as an Israelite or as a son of God, our job is to turn our people back to the Creator through our music, through our business practices, through our social behavior and conduct, through our family structure, through our just about everything that we do. It's supposed to be we had to be the living examples and then broadcast that example as something that now you can get excited about farming organic and knowing that something now that people, I can be an organic farmer, I can sell healthy food and eat healthy food, and then we also take it to the table where we have a Soil to Soul program that we're pushing, where you actually take this food now and make some real nice healthy dishes. So we're making the right things fashionable again.
True. So talking of image, one thing that a lot of people easily associate with you is veganism. So talk us through about that. How was it? Were you born in a vegan family, or is it something that came later into your life?
Oh, no, I was not born vegan. A matter of fact, when I think about people, mainly in the Caribbean, all people eat a lot of meat. Eat a lot of meat, and I grew up eating a lot. Now you have quite a bit of our people in the Caribbean who are waking up to the understanding that we were actually created as herbivores and not carnivores. So for me, it was, again, with my first introduction into the Hebrew Israelite community, which is a vegan community in Israel, and given an understanding of Genesis chapter 1, verse 29, where the Creator said, I've given you every herb of the field and every tree bearing fruit and the fruit yielding seeds. So when they think of all these herbs and all these food, and they said, Genesis 1 and 29, if we were on a journey, and the Bible is talking about the journey of a people, where was the journey supposed to take us to? It was supposed to take us back to the Genesis. So the prophecies and all these instructions were to bring us right back to the Genesis. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. So we get these original instructions. So it made sense to me that man was made not just from the dust of the ground, but from the minerals in the soil. Man was not just created to eat anything. Man's digestive system and his whole teeth, like the herbivores, everything about us are so much like the herbivores. But in actuality, the minerals that are in the soil are the minerals that we needed to maintain and what we call an Adamic body. So in order to maintain and to support an Adamic body and this Adamic species, as we call ourselves, we had to eat from our source. And the plant from the earth is the only original source of nutrients for us. So anywhere else you're going, it's a shortcut. You try to steal the pigs protein? How can you steal the protein from a pig? If you're a thief, then you suffer the consequences of being a thief. Hence, you have quite a number of diet-related diseases. This is actually really I would say the corresponding responses for eating flesh. If you eat flesh, then you will have those diseases, and there's likewise a lifestyle that's out of sync with creation, with the laws, seasons, and cycles of God. You know, when you're out of cycle, then things happen. So it's not by chance that we're finding so many sick people, etc. So
you've said being vegan is something you found out later. So I'm assuming when you moved to Israel. So, and I understand you've been vegan for a long time now, about
24 years.
24 years. So what will you say that us as people who have been converted here as vegans, what can you say that we're missing from being vegans?
Well, in real sincerity, I know everyone is not going to become a vegan, so I live as an example as much as I can to help to give people an option. And in our businesses, we do the same. In terms of not just understanding the original source of our sustenance, but then really paying close attention to what it is that someone is doing to themselves and doing to nature and to the environment when they consume animal flesh. Because you're incurring, it's like, I was kind of blunt one time. I said, our people are digging our graves with our teeth. because the palates have been so sensitized to the texture of flesh, the texture of dead animals, and to the taste of animals, when really you would not look at a chicken and kill it and eat it raw. First of all, your teeth cannot tear the chicken flesh like that, nor can it tear the flesh of a cow. And the taste of it in that state, you would not do that. But for a carrot, you can pick it and eat it. For a mango, you can pick it and eat it. For a banana, you can pick it and eat it. You can eat it fresh, and your teeth can chew it, and your body can digest it. So there's a lot of work that goes into having to kill an animal. You talk about the process of slaughtering, and that animal is somebody's cousin, it's somebody's uncle. I tell them all the time, I say, man, that's a chicken's uncle. That's a cow's nephew. You're killing somebody's nephew. And so the concept is something that may not necessarily be easy for everyone to understand, because in the scene, as far as nutrition on a larger scale, through the institutions of the world, they teach you that you have to eat beef to get protein, you have to drink milk to get calcium, etc., when there's nothing further from the truth. Because the lifespan of a person who consumes plant protein and plant calcium, etc., is first of all, the person is in much healthier condition, and the lifespan is much longer than one who would have consumed animal flesh over that same period of time. You will find that there's a major decay in the bones from having to consume protein and calcium from a middleman versus going directly to the source. Go directly to the source and you get exactly what you need.
It now actually makes sense, because all these animals get their food from the plants. And we actually
look at the rhino. Look at the rhino and the elephant. You cannot stand up next to them. These guys are strong. Even the lions respect them.
So it's a matter of getting the mentality right from a very early age.
Yes.
Okay. So now actually that makes sense. And then if we could move to another chapter of your life, which is a big part of you, and that's music. So I understand you've been doing music from a very young age. I think 13 years old?
13 years old,
yeah. So that's pretty early. How did you get into music? Is it something also you were born into, or it's something also you...
Well, back in the early 80s, it was the breakdancing era. And we had quite a number of people who were into breakdancing and hip-hop in the Caribbean. It came from America, and it coming from Black America, something, an art that we found really interesting. We wanted to break dance, we wanted to rap. So I myself, I guess I was into poetry for a long time, but I found myself being able to imitate the guys like the Human Beatbox from the Fat Boys and Dougie Fresh, etc. And then I took what they were doing and put my own sounds to it. So music should be for the purpose of enhancing people's lives, enhancing the creation, and also representing the creator. So like I was saying, anyone who is an artist should really be connecting to the universe, to the creator, so that you're expressing something. You become like a conduit. So you receive it and you express it from a real pure place, and not attempting to tap into the negative energies that are around you. It's supposed to be bringing something to get rid of the negative energies, because the artists, we are supposed to balance creation. As you hear someone playing the saxophone, it makes you calm. It does something to your nerves. You hear a guitar, it does something to you. So likewise, when you listen to the lyrics, it's supposed to have a similar effect. It's not supposed to inspire you to do someone wrong. It's not supposed to inspire you to express yourself in a more lewd or provocative manner. It's supposed to inspire you to do right. It's supposed to relax your nerves. It's supposed to heal you. So music is supposed to heal. Music is supposed to regenerate. Music is supposed to give life. So music, just like food, I said, if it's not life-giving, then it's not of the creator. It's of another source. And we have to be real honest of the source of our lyrical content of the music that we're singing. We have to be really conscious about that, because you find quite a number of people who are expressing themselves, and what they're expressing is not improving anyone's life. I have a saying that if children cannot listen to the music, then why are you listening to it?
Sure.
So,
And the bigger picture, it will have the same effect.
Exactly. So it has to, music itself has to, it has to be of some real clear and concise essence that's going to give someone something of substance positively. It has to be positive substance. So when I say music with purpose, I'm speaking from a real personal position that I've taken in life, that if it's not positive, I don't want to say it.
Okay. So I also agree, because anyone who has listened to your songs can actually tell there's purpose in it. I happen to have listened Boda Boda. You know, you have a clear message there. People should take their lives. They should understand that the lives are precious. And then the Veganism song, which I also find it pretty good. It was actually listed as one of the top, as the coolest vegan songs at one of the sites, beating Maccabi, who is also very big in making the vegetarian songs. So congrats to that. And I also noticed from the song Ammi the Veggie Man, it actually starts with a Bible verse, Genesis 1:29, as you said earlier. So I was just wondering, how big is spiritual life to you? How impactful is it in your life?
Well, for me, spiritual life is life. My life is based around my spiritual and moral principles. So there's no separation. Like, we have a separation of church and state, or your religion from the rest, from what you do. For me, there's no separation. My spiritual life, my culture, that's part of our culture, and this ties us back into what our ancestors used to do. I mean, Africa has always been like that. Every tribe, so to speak, is tied into a culture, is tied into a way of living. So for me, there's no separation. Like, I'm not a Hebrew by religion. I'm not an Israelite by religion. There's no place for religion in my life. As a matter of fact, religion is one thing I've seen that separates people. So spirituality, the laws, the commandments of God, the instructions, those are the foundation of our spiritual existence. And that spiritual essence is what feeds this physical. All your thoughts come from somewhere. All your actions, your words, they come from somewhere. So they come from one source, and that one source is the spirit that guides you, and it's either God or Satan. There's no a bunch of different sources of intellect or inspiration. It's either inspired by God or inspired by Satan. So I say the source of my music and my life and everything that I do my best to tap into that one source. And any distractions is like zzz, it's like a buzz. It's distortion. No, I can't say that. No, I won't do that. No, I can't sing that. That's like some sort of distortion in the air. So, and as thoughts and energies and these vibrations are all around us, and you're in the midst of all these I call them distractions every day. It takes real distinct focus on what it is that you want to represent or who you want to be fed from, and you tap into that source. So for me, it's tapping into the intellect of our community, and even from a doctrinal perspective, taking in positive words every day, reading positive information, listening to and hearing words that feed our cultural origin and our cultural position. These things inspire me every single day. So in terms of spirit, there's the word worship in Hebrew. It's avodah. Avodah is to work. So when you say those who worship God, worship Him in spirit and in truth, it's actually saying those who work for God, work for Him in spirit and truth. So everything you do from the time you wake up, when you wake up in the morning to, brushing your teeth, your eating, your business, your job, everything you do is supposed to be worship. So, and that's our spiritual foundation.
Now actually it makes sense because when you connect the dots for what you do, what you say, they actually all in sync.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty good. I think we're going to go for the break and if you've been listening to us, we've been talking to Ammi, the veg man, and we are now going to take a short break. So be sure to join us then because he will actually be performing for us one of his songs and also a little bit of beatboxing here and there. So be sure to tune in for that. But for now, we are taking a short break. We'll be right back.
Don't know when I call. Stay out and stay strong. Don't hang up when I call. You won't survive there for long. Don't know when I call. Stay out and stay strong.
Calling for my people to get out and stop stalling. A revolutionary show, my heart's burning. When I really start check out, you're not discerning. That they might try to wipe you out. I'm not believing that this is what it's all about. You're not retrieving from the energies you put out. It's quite deceiving that you really can't get out. It is bereaving when I see how many.
Hello guys, welcome back to Organic Adventures. Of course, this is the Organic Guy, and we are one-on-one with Ammi, the veg man. If you are watching this, of course, that means we have the first part of this interview, which I really recommend you go and watch first before you continue with this one, because we talked about his early journey, we talked about him being as a vegan, and also we talked about his music. So in this second part of this interview, we are talking with him all things organic, and of course he will be able to perform for us a song and a little bit of beatboxing. So welcome back, and thank you again for having us.
Thank you too. Thank you so much.
So this part, I think we're going to dive deep now into talking all matters organic. Obviously, organic is also a big part of your life, apart from music and being a vegan and all. So you can sort of tell us, how did you come to realize that organic was really a big part of your life? Was it something that you came across, or is it something that you grew up with as a young person?
Well, as a child growing up, my grandmother was always an organic farmer, but back then we didn't think she was an organic farmer. When we think organic, we looking at plants and what it needs to sustain a plant and to sustain plant life and to enhance their growth. We had to think now that we're going to take this from a natural source, because most of the world today, as we know, agriculture is harsh chemicals, harsh pesticides to kill insects, synthetic fertilizers, and most times synthetic disease control, when in actuality that's not what, that does not enhance life. As a matter of fact, it kills life. It's, they're deadly and health hazardous. So what started me on the journey was the meeting at the time, our Prince Yadiel, who we call the Prince of Agriculture. He really started me on the journey of, he was my teacher in the School of the Prophets in Israel, and then he also took me on to being an assistant manager at our community agriculture project back then. And a lot of what he taught opened my eyes to the fact that a lot of what people are doing people are killing themselves, people are killing consumers, it's all death. And I didn't realize there was so much death in agriculture, because even for us who are vegans, eating vegetables, we're eating vegetables so that we can live. Not realizing that the chemicals that were being used on these vegetables were actually taking life. That way they were deadly and hazardous to human health. So it was a big wake-up call for me when I met the community and when I met Prince Yadiel back in, that's over 20, well, almost 20 years ago now.
I think that's for a pretty long time, for 20 years, and still be working on this. And also, it's obvious where your passion now comes from. And most of people may not know that you're actually managing ABI Organics. So can you tell us a little bit about that? What is ABI and what do you do?
ABI stands for African Growers Initiative. ABI Organic was an organic component of our business, which specifically deals with organic agriculture consultation, product development, as well as a partnership we formed with ammi, where we sell the organic kit. The organic kit being one of our main products. And that is where we offer a greenhouse, along with all of the hardware that you need, your irrigation system, tank, knapsack, sprayers, mask, nursery trays, and your planting media for your nursery. You name it, all of your organic pesticides, organic fungicides, organic fertilizers, biostimulants, soil regenerators. So we actually form a kit, and that kit is a turnkey unit for anyone who wants to go into agribusiness organically, that we made it bulletproof and easy for anyone to grow it, to do so. And then we also train the client, as well as give them a spray schedule, and then we do an after-sales service we call agro support, where we actually go out to visit the client to make sure that they're following the instructions that were given in the training. So ABI Organic, we do quite a bit as far as agriculture. We have married what we call modern technology with ancient wisdom, which is why the partnership with ammi, offering the most modern and structurally long-lasting and efficient hardware that we can find in agriculture, and marrying this with strictly certified organic inputs that we source from locally in Kenya and from all over the world, so that we can offer something that's completely safe for the consumer and also safe for the environment.
So it's also interesting that you've said you are marrying technology and ancient wisdom. So you're trying to combine the two. So in terms of someone who might have criticism, in terms of you're trying to make, organic farmers to be a little bit lazy, in terms of you're not impacting them with knowledge that they require to actually do organic at its core. So let's say, learning the core principles of organic in terms of how they can easily work with nature and also control diseases, pesticides, according to nature. So what's your response to that? Do you think that's a valid argument when they bring such kind of organic arguments?
Well, what we do is while we offer these certified organic inputs that we source worldwide, the inputs are to secure that someone has an easy and manageable system that they can manage there, whether greenhouses or open field systems. We give them as easy as possible system, but at the same time, we teach them compost making, and we also teach our people to use the natural and your resources and different herbs that you can make your natural pesticides, that you can make your natural disease control. So, and even down to the level of making your own fertilizers, etc. So we're not locked into you have to buy these products. Our purpose and our agenda is that we will convert our people's minds over into doing it the natural way. So whether you're using a product that you can get off of the shelves here, or you're going to go and make a product, we're teaching our people how to go back to nature in such a way that agriculture actually becomes sustainable. Because otherwise it's not sustainable.
True.
You put chemicals into the soil over a long period of time, you will kill the soil. Because you grow the soil at the expense, you grow the plant at the expense of the soil. So then we are telling our people, no, we have to go back, seek ye the old paths, let's go back and do this. I mean, we have found some modern technologies we can implement to improve what we do and make it more efficient, but at the same time we can't move away from nature and expect to succeed.
So basically that makes a lot of sense in terms of what you're doing, making it easier for at least guys who are transitioning, to make it easier for them to actually do organic. And also in terms of ABI, one thing I realized that you have, I can call it more of a motto, is that love the land and the land will love you back. So can you sort of explain to us, what exactly that means?
Well, we say that in a very simple and modest form when we say love the land and the land shall love you in return. But in actuality, what we are saying is that the land is alive and the plants are alive. And in our approach to agriculture is not just doing something as you would with a computer or with an instrument or something that's made synthetically. We're talking about a living organism. We're talking about a living being. The earth is alive. So the love that you put into the food that you're growing, the energy and the care and the attentiveness that you put into it, the affection that you approach agriculture with, it will also give it back to you.
Yeah.
So a carrot has intelligence.
Yeah.
You know, tomato has intelligence, and it gives to the person who loves it.
Yeah.
And if you're going to nurture it and treat it with the love and care that it deserves, then it would naturally give you back all of its substance, and the nutrients that you need to sustain life. So our words, love the land and the land shall love you in return, is something that has much deeper meaning for it than it may sound.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about loving a living organism.
Okay. So literally taking the land as a living entity and not just separating as something that, you know, you're just there to extract what it gives you and then just live.
No, you have to care for it. You have to love it. If you want it to love you, you have to love it.
Okay, then that makes a lot of sense. And obviously you've been doing this for a long time. Right now, what advice would you say for a person who wants to go organic, or a person who wants to to do organic farming? What is in there for them? What are they missing? Why should they go organic?
Well, the first thing I say is that if you go any other way than organic, because for whatever reason someone may be thinking, it costs you more in the long run, because you're going to have to deal with some situations, some of the repercussions of synthetic agriculture in terms of some of the increase in cancers and some of the diseases that are attached to chemicals. You know, so when you're going organic, I found a large number of people do it for the monetary returns, because most times organic products fetch a higher market value.
Yeah.
So quite a large number of our clients and people go for it for those reasons. But I say to anyone who is, whether they're doing conventional farming or they just want to farm, I say, look, if you're going to do this, it's best you do it for life, so that you can live and that your clients can live,
Yeah.
and that your consumers will live, and that this land will last you. So if you want to use this land for the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 generations, the only way to do so is organic. If you want to save this project and this site for your children's children, then the only way to do so is organic.
Yeah.
Because you take a shortcut, and eventually the only thing you can grow is buildings. You know, you have to, and you have, it's a serious situation here.
Yeah.
I mean, you look even in some parts of Kenya right now, you have the maize production rate has dropped significantly, and farmers are attempting to seek stronger and stronger chemicals to grow the maize. Likewise, you find the insects have been mutating based on using harsh chemicals. So they're using stronger and stronger chemicals to control those insects, meaning that you're putting stronger poisons into the soil, stronger poisons into the plant, hence stronger poisons into the consumer. So if we're talking about growing food for the sustenance of man and real sustainable agriculture, organic is the only way and the only means of having a future in agriculture for our people.
Yeah. So obviously there's right now there's a lot of rise in terms of non-communicable diseases. We're talking about the cancers, the obesities. Do you see a role that organic foods or organic farming, can do to the situation? Can it be able to, be the solution to those?
Well, it's one of the solutions, because I say in our case, I don't just live and I don't just grow food organic and live an organic life. So some of the lifestyle diseases and things that we have seen people incurring over the years, some of this has to do with making the right choices. And when I say the right choices, healthy lifestyle choices in terms of organic food, proper exercise, the proper intake of water. So when you incorporate an organic life, where the things that naturally enhance life become a part of your day-to-day schedule or your day-to-day regimen, then you have some of the solutions right there. I mean, eating natural is more than just growing organic food, and I mean, if you want to, you're going to have to understand the proper food combinations and what's best to eat at different times of the day, etc., etc. Why you have to drink a certain amount of water, what's the minimum exercise that you would need in order to live and to have a healthy functioning body, and how the body works. So what we're seeing today is people shifting away from what was natural. In Africa, we were mostly an agrarian people. Farmers exercise every day. Farmers exercise. You're always exercising.
Yes.
farmers drink a lot of water because see, you're working, you're sweating, you're going to drink water. You know, so you find that you find when we have shifted away from that agrarian lifestyle or that natural lifestyle, we actually begin to incur quite a large number of things that have incurred diseases and deaths. So we have to really consider the choices we're making and make better choices, healthier choices. In my case, I said make organic choices.
I also feel that should actually be the case. And to go straight to your point, making healthy choices. On your song Ammi the Veg Man, you actually, one of the lines is that you are what you eat. And it's one of those lines that I hear being thrown a lot all over. So according to you, what does that mean? You are what you eat.
When you say you are what you eat, if you're constantly consuming the natural plants from the soil, then you will naturally be building an immune system that is being built by the minerals you're absorbing from the earth. If you're taking a shortcut or going to, let's say, from an animal source, and you're attempting to get those minerals, you're not going to get the same minerals or the same protein. For example, you would have gotten from the plants, you would not get the same protein from an animal. So what you become, you want that protein, but you become part cow. If I could say it like that, because your sinews, your flesh, your cells, your organs, they are being built by protein that's partly something that a cow had digested and processed, and you're attempting to take this from animal flesh. So then so then someone who's eating complete plants, this protein, this flesh is coming from a plant source. So then you become the plant. And I mean, like me, I would love to be a baobab tree, live for a long time. So I consume baobab, and I want whatever intelligence causes that baobab tree to live for that extensive period of time. And you look at the animals that we can or people are consuming. I mean, I used to consume them, so I'm not gonna act like you just eat meat and you this and you that, because I was the same place. A number of years ago. So I'm not like just critical and condemning about it. But at the same time, we have to be real honest and speak the truth. That you are what you eat. Whatever you consume, that is what you're made of. And that goes from the liquid that enter your body to make your blood. Your blood will either be built and regenerated, or your body or your blood will be attempting to be maintained, but it's being degenerated from what you're putting into it. So and that blood makes your flesh. So you're digesting you're consuming, you're digesting, you're building, but you have to be honest. What do I want to build? Do I want to be a full grown pig? or do I want to be a baobab tree? Do I want to live like a baobab tree? I want to live for a long time and be around and be smiling when the wind blows, or flow with the wind, and have the joy and the peace of being one with nature. So.
Okay, then I guess that actually makes a lot of sense. And one of the things that you are is you do what you say. And in terms of, there are a lot of people out there who will love to eat an organic diet, a full organic diet. I know you do it as much as possible. So do you have sort of any kind of tips for anyone who wants to go, any easier way that they can transition to eating organic?
First of all, organic comes with some, people have to be fortified or given the knowledge of why organic, so that it makes it easier for you. So you know why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I don't want those chemicals in my body. I don't want to die. I want to live. So it makes you begin to research, and you begin to find all the places that you can find organic. The people who are certified organic food distributors, where the organic markets. In Kenya, you have a few organic markets. But what my advice is to begin to check the farmers. If the consumer begin to check the farmers, when I say check them, where are you growing this food? What do you put in this food? Is this food grown with harsh chemicals? Is it grown with sewage water? Is it grown with this? So you begin to check the farmers, because you make the farmers responsible. And if we share more and more information with the farmers and give them an alternative to let them know that modern farming and agriculture is not only conventional. Modern farming and agriculture can be done organically, and it does not need to be expensive. So we can bring the cost of organic produce down, but it has to be a great awareness. So my answer is that the first area has to be the area of awareness, but then people need to begin to source and find those places that they can get the organic vegetables. You need to actually
have the access.
Make it your business. I want organic food. If you're telling the supermarkets I want organic food, if you're telling the greengrocer I want organic food, and then you yourself be responsible and grow some organic food.
Yeah.
You know, so everyone should have at least a few herbs, something, even a little plant that's growing something of what they're consuming.
Yeah.
So it really comes with a level of responsibility and being accountable for what you do, what you consume. So you're not going to just be pointing fingers, but you have taken action into making sure that what you're consuming is going to enhance your life.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think that has been an active conversation, lots of learnings, and lot of insights on what can be done and what we can do in general in terms of trying to go organic. So as we wrap things up, I think it's fair you sort of give us a freestyle of one of your songs, and also we'll do a bit of beatboxing, then we call it a day, right?
Okay, we can.
Yeah. So we'll go with a freestyle. I think the song that you think that will have the most impact, then we'll do a bit of beatboxing. So if you need help,
This is the song that has the most impact. This is a song I made recently because everyone knows the Veggie Man. Me don't want no move, me don't want no man, me don't want no oink, me don't want no clack 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 clack. But this is the song that comes to mind right now. It's a song I call Another Song, which is like a response to the Veggie Man, where I said them send for the Veggie Man because they want another song. I said I'm coming from the farm with fruits and veggies in my hand. Then, hey, say you don't know the veggie, then I suggest you try. Wisdom comes from the ancients, some are not living on a lie. If you don't eat your veggies, you would get sick and die. Wisdom comes from the ancients, some are not living on all of the animal killing and eating. I tell them that is not real food. And when I tell them the truth that is bad for them head, then they turn around and say that my rude. The almighty laws done set in the earth and them things you can't change. It might sound strange when things rearrange, that's why them send for the Veggie Man.
Wisdom comes from the
Ancients, yeah.
Exactly. So I think we're gonna have a beatboxing. I mean, I like to hear those sounds.
You like to hear the beat? Well,
Yeah.
We can even do the lyrics.
Say that again?
We can do the lyrics.
The lyrics to the beatboxing? No, it's not easy. It's not easy to and sing and sing and chant. Tell them the truth and then make it come last. Come.
What else do you need, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you very much for having us.
Oh, thank you so much for coming.
Pleasure, lots of learning,
Thank you
lots
so
of
much.
wisdom. So thank you very much, and keep up the good work.
Man, you likewise. Keep up this advocacy and teaching the people.
Yeah.
Yes, I love the organic adventures and what you guys doing.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. So, what else do you need, ladies and gentlemen? Lots of adventures, of course, lots of entertainment from Emmy. Should I say Ammi? Ammi, the veg man, and So remember to continue the conversations on social media. Of course, Organic Adventures across social media. Remember also to hit that subscription button on YouTube and also subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast player. So we also on Organic Quest on this episode, actually on Organic Quest, we are asking, what does love the land and the land will love you back mean? What does love the land and the land will love you back mean? So the person with the most comments on the comment section will have an organic gift hamper from one of our sponsors, and we'll see how that goes. So also remember to visit our website, that is organicadventures.org, where you will also be able to have access to lots of our videos, lots of podcasts, and also you'll be able to access to a lot of our blogs that we write. So till next time, ladies and gentlemen, remember to be organic.
I'm calling for my people to get out and stop stalling. The revolutionary show, my heart's burning. When I really start check out, you're not discerning. That them a try for wipe you out. I'm not believing that this is what it's all about. You're not retrieving from the energies you put out. It's quite deceiving. that you really can't get out